again, this is optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Prime Cyberverse Commander Class Bulkhead, the heavy munitions expert. Expert? Okay, whatever. As you can see here, you got all the Autobots here on the packaging. Bumblebee, Optimus, RC, and the one and only Ratchet. You do see that it includes a mini DVD. Now, one thing that really does kind of suck is they're all the same ones. Every time that they include a DVD for something, it's always Masters and Students, which is a very good episode, but I really wish they would, put more out there, I guess. It would help a lot of people see the show and enjoy it probably more, but I don't know. You can see full episode, you got his tech specs here on the side, Series 2, figure number 2. I don't particularly like the fact that his intelligence is only a 5. I think he's smarter than that. Flip around here on the back, you see other Cyberverse figures, or specifically characters, I guess. And you got a nice little read up here where it says, Bulkhead means well, but being destructive is his nature. Everywhere he goes, he manages to crush something delicate under his huge feet. Of course, when he turns his destructive nature on the Decepticons, it's all over for the evil robots. You got the armored truck, you got the robot mode, really kind of cool packaging on here. Very simple, very fun. And one thing that it does say here on the top says that this DVD is not intended for use in slot loading DVD players. It says to check your DVD's player manual before using. The slot being things like laptops have them. A lot of Apple computers kind of use those as well. The kind of best example that I can give you is if you have a Wii, that would be kind of like a slot loading kind of thing. So there that is. Really kind of fun. So let's get Mr. Bulkhead here open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Bulkhead opened up and out of its packaging, and as you can see, very nice representation of his actual vehicle mode. The only real kind of ugly part I would really say would be this front section here. As you can see that basically there are his feet and his heels and stuff, and it's kind of ugly. I mean, that's really the worst part about this. I mean, you can see his weapon can store here at the very top in that little peg hole. You can also plug it on the side if you want, although it really kind of sucks pegging it in there because you can't rotate it down, so you kind of have to plug it in like that. Or I guess if you really were so inclined, you can take it and plug it on that way backwards, kind of making it look like a gun, I suppose. It's really kind of up to you. But overall, like I said, not a very bad looking representation of the vehicle mode. He rolls, all that stuff. And being a commander class, he has a little bit more accuracy going on with him and a little bit more posability. But other than that, I mean, it's not a bad figure. You got some nice silver wraps right on here. The little plastic bits right in here are translucent, let me say that word right. And then also you can kind of sort of see some translucent plastic through the roof here. That comes in handy later on if you get the star hammer, I suppose. But we'll show that off a little bit later on when I actually review that. But overall, not too terribly bad. You got some red paint here on the taillights. I guess the ugliest part would be this giant gray bit right here. I suppose if that was painted green, it would look a whole lot better. But overall, not a very bad looking vehicle mode. Transformation is actually pretty simple. These just unpeg, and you can kind of rotate these down, and this is going to rotate all the way up. Get that like so. Take these little bottom sections here, rotate these around, and these are going to be his feet. And there you have on the inside again fake wheels, but at least this time these wheels are the same color as the outside wheels, so that's not too bad. But there you have that section. Take these arms, well, you can kind of untab these, or you can just pull them out, whatever you want to do. Fold these out. These are going to rotate out to the side. Take this section here, rotate this down, rotate this all the way down like so. Do that on this side, rotate that up, just like so. Now you can take these and you can straighten them out like that. It really kind of depends on what you really want to do, and I'll get into that a little bit more later on. I'm gonna, for just the sake of this, I'm gonna leave them up. Then take this section here, these little wheels, kind of just angle those up, just to kind of give them that back look. And here you have Bulkhead in his robot mode. Now when I was talking about the shoulder bits here, if you actually leave them down, which it doesn't look too bad if you leave them down like that, but some of his articulation here is a little bit, I don't want to say hindered, but it really kind of is, because this little tiny bit right here kind of gets in the way with all that stuff. If you actually leave it up, you don't have that problem. You get a nice range of motion all over the place. But honestly, I think it looks better if it's down like so. So that's how I'm going to do the rest of this video. I'm going to leave it like that, just so you can kind of see it like that. That's really how I display them. I think it looks better aesthetically, and make sure that's clipped in. But you can definitely see the translucent chest piece here, and he does have a little peg here on the back, which you will use when you actually see my review of the Star Hammer, or Jackhammer, whatever you want to call it. In terms of articulation, his head actually rotates, which is a nice added bonus. You don't get a lot of rotation on it, but a little tiny bit. The shoulders here are on ball joints, so you can move those all the way around. These arms are on ball joints, so again, good range of motion, but again, it gets a little bit limited here, and then if you remove it, it's a little bit better, or lift that up, it's a little bit better. Nothing at the waist, but the hips here are on ball joints, and he also bends at the knee. I guess you could kind of say he's got feet articulation, but it really is just due to the transformation, which just sort of adds some posability. When it comes to his weapon, though, I do actually kind of like this. You can take this and you plug it on right there, and I think that looks pretty good. I actually really like that. It nicely replicates that giant wrecking ball that he actually has. And again, if you are so inclined, pop that out. You can have him actually hold it, and you can have him kind of have a handgun if you wanted to, or rotate it around that way. You have a little bit of a handgun. It really doesn't look much like a handgun, but you can use it as one if you want. And then there's all these other holes all over the place. You could plug things in if you really want to. Overall, though, I mean, I really do dig this guy. It's a nice little figure that is pretty accurate. Now, he does have a big gaping hole here, but hey, look. Put that in there, you got weapon storage. Well, until it falls out. Here, stuff that up in there. Definitely a good figure, and a price on these that isn't all that difficult. And looks, in my opinion, a lot better than the RID Bulkhead that we got. This is definitely kind of a step up from that, and in between the first edition and RID version. So definitely worth considering picking up. Now, transformation, is basically the same. It's actually pretty simple. Just rotate these around, like so. Now, one thing that does suck is, like, none of this stuff here actually pegs together. I would love it. Well, that actually, what is that pegging into? Oh, I guess there is a little peg there. I didn't notice that before. There's a little tiny slot right in here and a little groove. I honestly didn't know that actually pegged together like that. I thought it didn't, but there you go. It actually holds together fairly well. Then rotate these all the way around, but see, the peg doesn't. So that's why I didn't notice it before, because it's a very weak peg. It doesn't really hold very well. Rotate these around, and then rotate these down. Now, what you want to do is make sure that the Autobot logo on both arms is facing outward, because you're going to have these holes. When you fold that up, you're going to have this little tab on the inside of the wheel, right in there, actually fit into that little hole section. So that keeps everything kind of smushed and pushed together nicely. Rotate this down, well, untab this chest bit, rotate these down, just like so. Rotate these wheels around. Now these wheels, or these legs, they don't tab together, so that kind of sucks. It's one thing I wish that they actually did, but it holds together. And then just bend these in, fold that in, push down the hood, which actually locks these into place, and here you have him back in his vehicle mode. Now, the bottom line is, with these Cyberverse figures, you basically know what you're getting. You're getting very small, affordable versions of the characters that we know, but they're not entirely the best figures for those characters. These really are kind of a budget sort of Transformer, and most people know that and accept that, and going into them don't have too much of a problem with it. Bulkhead here is a wonderful addition to the actual lineup. The vehicle mode probably is the weakest looking, only because you got this front section right here, which really kind of sticks out and kind of makes things look ugly. The transformation on him is pretty simple. I mean, it is a Cyberverse figure, but being a commander, it's a little bit more complicated. Not really, but we'll pretend it is. But the transformation is fun nonetheless. Now, as the robot mode emerges, we see a figure that, like I said, is better than the RID version. And the fact that this is a Cyberverse and a much smaller and cheaper version of Bulkhead himself, that really does impress me. These new Cyberverse figures are all sorts of fun and are wonderful, wonderful figures. The engineering that went into these it's absolutely awesome. So without a doubt, guys, I would highly recommend picking this guy up. He's fun, and it's Bulkhead. You gotta have Bulkhead in your collection. So until next time, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.